have 4:34, and at this time we'll call the meeting of the Canyon City Commission to order. With that, Commissioner Ward, would you lead us in church?
Sure. So, bow with me. Heavenly Father, just thank you for this day. Thank you for the city of Canyon. I just pray that you help us make the best decisions for the community, and I just pray you send us some rain. And thank you for all the blessings that you've given us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, that takes us to the approval of the minutes of the meeting of May 2nd, 2021.
Make a motion that we approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as written. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, like that. Motion passes. Public comment. Comments from interested citizens. Megan?
I don't have any.
That takes us to item number 6, first reading of resolution number 09-2022, resolution of the City Commission of the City of Canyon approving a project funding agreement between Blue Club Canyon LLC and Canyon Economic Development Corporation relating to direct financial assistance and job creation in cities. Jim?
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it so much. Let me get the notes here. Yes. Pardon me just a minute. We have our first reading of the resolution, number 10/2022, and this is for funding to the Canyon Economic Development Corp marketing account. The account holds 10% of the sales tax revenues collected that's specifically intended for promoting Canyon, and the funding agreement is with the commissioners. This is for marketing for Texas Main Street. Yes, sir.
You know what? Yeah, Jim, we've got the one on Blue Club first here.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. I got that here.
We'll get to that one next time.
Okay. On the Blue Club, this was during the. This is the first reading of resolution number 09/2022. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Canyon approving a project funding agreement between Blue Club of Canyon LLC and the Canyon Economic Development Corporation related to direct financial assistance and job creation incentives. And during the April 14th meeting of the Canyon Economic Development Corp, approved project funding for Blue Club. The total funding of request is $39,425. Funds will be dispersed from the CEC funding agreement. This is a special club. It is for just for women, and so Paul, obviously you and I can't go to it. So It's where they work on like diet and nutrition and things like that. And apparently, there's one already in Amarillo, and it has been so successful. They wanted to put one in Canyon, and they've already got, like you'd say in the real estate business, pre-sales. They've already got people signed up.
They offer classes, correct? Workout classes and those type of things.
Yes,
along with
workout classes, yes, nutrition.
What's that?
This is first reading, Paul. We talked about it. This first reading, but yeah, we did talk about it.
And breakdown there is on page 2 of that 39,425.
Yes.
In our package.
Paul, I'm sorry, I don't have that information.
Her name's Jessica Lopez, I think. Not Jennifer Lopez, but Jessica. Yeah.
Any other questions for Jim on this one?
Yeah, y'all will bear with me. I'm sort of pinch hitting here since Evelyn retired, so pardon my fumbling through this, but appreciate y'all. Anything else, Gary? Are we doing that Canyon Main Street?
Yeah, we'll do it next. So if there's not any other questions in on this one, yes, Jim, that was reading only, and so our next is item number 7, first reading of resolution number 10-2022, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Canyon approving the project funding agreement between Canyon Main Street and Canyon Economic Development Corporation relating to direct financial assistance to Canyon Main Street for marketing the 20th year as the Texas Main Street City.
So, since I fumbled the ball and read this in the first reading to the second reading, I guess the first reading of this one is Resolution 10-2022, resolution of the City Commission of the City of Canyon approving the project funding agreement between Canyon Main Street and Canyon Economic Development Corporation related to direct financial assistance to Canyon Main Street for marketing the 20th year as a Texas Main Street City.
It's their marketing program.
I can talk quite a bit about this one if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is just, with our 20th anniversary of Main Street, I know Kirsty has been working on a lot of different events and projects for this. I mean, it is a big deal for us being 20 years as a Canyon Main Street, and you can see what Canyon Main Street has done for us from it. And let me go back in history. I'll never forget the day Mayor Lois Rice walked into my office and said, I want you to be on our new board for the Main Street. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. I mean, you didn't tell Mayor Rice anything but yes. And so we started that 20 years ago, and from that, we did not have an economic development corp here in Canyon. It had failed. I think back in '96 at a vote. And so with our Main Street program, we had a big push toward the courthouse restoration and toward us getting the 4B sales tax. We did several town hall meetings talking about the 4B sales tax. We did have a vote. We did get that approved, obviously. So we've had our Canyon EDC for many years now, and it's also been very successful. All of these things have stemmed from the Texas Main Street program. The centerpiece of the Main Street program was the courthouse restoration. We did get the exterior done and the landscaping done around it. We thought we had funding to do the interior, but it was on a point system. This is what previous Governor George W. Bush had set up funds for the various courthouses in Texas to get remodeled or restored. And when we applied for the funding, we did get the exterior. We thought we'd get the interior. And what happened was it was on a point system, and part of the points was there had to be people actively in the existing buildings. Well, the county had exited the old courthouse and built 2 buildings next to it. They call it the Twin Sisters. The annexes. And so with that, it was a couple of points we didn't get because we didn't have people in the courthouse at the time. So we wound up losing out to some other cities, and then as time went by, the funding sort of went away. So we lost that grand opportunity to restore the interior, and we tried several other ways to get that done. And we haven't given up. We just need some new ideas and fresh ways to approach it to get the interior of the courthouse restored. All that being said, as part of this, Kirsty has a very good plan of getting this promoted in the city, and these are funds to help us.
Any more questions for Jim? Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
That is just discussion only, no action item at this time. Thanks, sir. Item number 8, to conduct a public hearing and consider and take appropriate action on ordinance number 1156, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Canyon, Texas, rezoning Canyon Lost Unit 1, in addition to the City of Canyon, Randall County, Texas, providing that the zoning classification be posted upon the zoning district maps of the City of Canyon, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with herewith are expressively repealed, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mayor. This property is located south of the cap, about a block south of the cap. So there's a piece of property, and we talked about this before. You guys probably remember this, but there's a piece of property there that was for a skilled nursing center that hasn't worked on for some time. This is just south of that. So Canyon Midwest Housing Partners LP has requested a zoning change, and the proposed zoning change is plan development. The benefit of going with this plan development is as Megan has pulled up here, that site plan is part of that requirement. Rather than multifamily or something where they can build just whatever multifamily would allow, they will have to adhere to this site plan. That's the benefit of doing this plan development. The plan is to build a 3-story 72-unit senior living facility. That's correct. It is age restricted. You guys remember sometime back we adopted a resolution in support of it. They were working through the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs to get their 9% housing tax credits. So they received that, and here we are at this point in time. We're just going to look at zoning. But as you can see, that site plan is presented up there. It's fairly detailed. It gives a lot of good information that they'll be required to adhere to. Parking spaces, what the building's going to look like, how many units it's going to have, land coverage, etc. I'll talk more about the plat when we get to that on the next item. But the P&Z did meet last Monday and recommended approval of this open change. And Jacob Moody with MRE Capital is here if you guys have any questions for him. And this will require a public hearing.
So will it be senior and low income, or a combination of both, or how's that?
Combination of both. It is, there's market rate and senior is about 75% affordable. And it's independent living, so it's not skilled nursing or anything like that. We started the process 15 months ago or so, 16 months ago, and end of July of last year, got awarded the financing from the state, and then just been working through the plan, zoning, annexation, and everything that goes into getting to this point. So the goal would be to close this Friday and start construction in the next couple weeks.
How long does that term last on those tax credits? Or you have to obligate yourself to?
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah, so we will be the owner of it for 15 years. We've developed 30 developments like this in 5 or 6 different states, and we've never sold anything. So we'll be here for a long time.
Any other questions?
Public infrastructure, then we'll extend the street, as you can see right there.
And we can talk, I think, more about that with the plat, but we will extend 17th Avenue, will be extended, as you can see, to the west edge of this property. Dedicated, and then we will dedicate 17th Avenue, extending on further west past that point, lining up with 18th Street. We'll see that on this plat, but 18th Street, the dedication, and tying into 17th Avenue on the western portion. We'll see that. Those will just simply be a dedication at this point. Those that you see right there will be in place, will be installed with this development.
And at
What is
this
add
point,
next? I'm sorry, go ahead.
developers are paying for that 17th Street.
Correct. Is there some shared costs at all, Joe?
Wait, that was an option?
You could have done like 30/70.
No renegotiation. Did you say
Yeah.
something? Did you say something about you wanted to extend 18th Street?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's as far as we can afford at this point. We do hope it is a catalyst for other development there in those front lots and back into that acreage. So
We'll go into that, Commission, on the next agenda item.
Okay. So, if there's no more discussion, yes, we'll open the public hearing.
No one seconded.
Okay. Then we will close the public hearing and would entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt ordinance number 1156, rezoning the proposed Canyon Lots Unit number 1 to Main Development District.
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Okay, that now takes us to item number 9. Consider and take appropriate action on a plat for Canyon Lofts Unit 1. Thank you.
And again, this plat will also show a site plan with that plat. So not only does the zoning, it also has a site plan attached with the plat. And this is what I'm talking about. You guys can see 17th Avenue, and this is the high school here. 17th Avenue will be built to this point. This area here will be dedicated but not built at this point. We wanted some additional access in case other developments came up out in this area. Their occupant load doesn't require more than one means of egress from that property, so we just had them approve that area. They will, the development agreement was approved in January 2021, and our city engineer will be performing inspections and public improvements, and be paying that 5% development fee as well as a surety.
And that does include the private lift station.
And this will have a private lift station discharging into a force main that will be maintained, owned by the city. And Dan will have to clue me as to where that's going exactly. It's going to tie in 21st Street area, is that right, Dan?
Yeah, it'll go into the park, basically, and then east. It'll continue east in the cap property, and then hit that alley between, what was that, 17th and 18th? No, between
guys at this point still working on getting that surveyed?
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
we figured we'd have enough time to figure out, we had some issues with the existing sewer line that's in that alley, and we're trying to, finalize the tie-in point for the floor plan. It's probably gonna be close to that intersection, so we can work through that as they construct.
I did note that this would be a conditional approval, based on approval of those construction plans that Dan's mentioned. Since then, they have approved those construction plans, so there's no need for conditional approval at this point. That's about it, unless you guys have any questions. If you'll notice, these areas here, this is just simply noting some floodplain areas, is what this is. This hashed area is not shown because we're just dedicating this, but these hashed areas are showing some floodplain and floodway areas, 100 areas. Won't be an issue with that street development, but maybe some future building development might think. We'll look like this plat. Any more questions?
No additional questions there. We'll entertain a motion to.
And again, that recommended motion, we just remove conditional on from that point on.
Just approval of the plan.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the plat for Canyon Loss Unit Number 1. All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. All right, then item number 10, consider and take appropriate action on a plat for Stone Creek Unit Number 1. Dan?
This is a development, if you turn to Kimbrough Stadium and head east on Buffalo Stadium Road, or what's more appropriately called West Country Club Drive, we can delete that from YouTube later.
Delete Kimbrough Stadium, is that what you said? Is there a Kimbrough Stadium?
Yeah, is it? Yes.
Depends on how old you are.
This is on your way towards Whitefish Farms, just on the north side of the road. As you pass the railroad tracks, this west boundary would be the railroad track. This is about a 44-acre development, 16 lots, curb and gutter, actually territorial jurisdiction development. Chris Reinhardt, Colby Monroe, I believe, are the partners on this. All the drainage studies, construction plans have been approved. Same thing, there will be inspections, inspection fees, a 5% development fee, and surety required. We did grant one staff minor variance for the length of this cul-de-sac. But additionally, it is an ETJ development with curb and gutter. So everything at this point is approved and recommended approval by the staff as well as the PEC. That's well and septic portion.
It is or isn't perfect.
It is. We're very happy with that.
I'll make a motion to approve the plat for Stone Creek.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the plat for Stone Creek Unit Number 1. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes.
These two will move to the pre-construction meeting phase, since they're both approved drainage reports and construction plans.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. All right, item number 11 is consider and take appropriate action on property purchase agreement of tract of land where the East Canyon Water Tower resides. Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we discussed, there's a number of properties that Mr. Burns and I have been working on. Mr. Burns has been leading a lot of this on our behalf. We are in a mutual agreement with the Texas A&M system and West Texas A&M on this property. This is actually the land that our water tower sits on. The water tower was built sometime in the 60s. Nobody knows if there's an agreement in place or what, but we came across this when WT and myself were working on the interlocal agreement, and we still have our pipe out there. As you can see, that pipe is a overflow pipe from the tower when it overfills, and we're going to hopefully tie it into the newly installed drainage system that was installed by West Texas A&M. Ultimately, it was in best interest for the city to just buy this, so we don't have to get an easement from the Texas A&M system that has limitations of 10 years, and that is state law. They can only do 10-year easements. However, hopefully, now that we have the right-of-way of Russell Long and in this property, we won't need that easement, and it will be permanent forever. So that's the goal here. It's a little over an acre. We feel that 40,000 appraisal come back is pretty satisfactory. No big issues on this. What was it, Chuck? Not on the escrow, but we did not have the need to have, we put money down.
Oh, earnest money?
No earnest money.
No earnest money, yeah.
We decided no earnest money was necessary on this property. Everything else should close as according. The draft contract in here is from the Texas A&M System Legal Department. They're the ones that drafted the agreement. Chuck and I conditionally looked over it. We had a few edits that we made. They just used boilerplate language, and so it wasn't boilerplate to another public entity. So we had a few things revised, but all in all, it looks applicable to us, and we'll own the land outright. Staff would recommend approval of the purchase.
Make a motion, we approve the property purchase agreement between the City of Canyon and A&M System for the property purchase amount of $40,000 and for the city to pay the closing costs associated with the purchase.
And authorize the city manager to execute on behalf of the city.
That's it.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. All right. Now it takes us to item number 12, executive session pursuant to 551.071, consultation with 551.072, deliberations about real property, 551.087, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations, and 551.074, personnel matters, municipal court judge. And I have 5:02, and at this time, we will adjourn into executive session.
For all you young college students, you can go home now. Okay.
Thank you.